Hello, this is a presentation on writing research problems and questions. My name is Sarah Duncan. I'm an Ed.D. candidate at the University of Louisiana in Monroe. In this presentation, we will identify the terms, look at types of research problems quantitative data can address, gain a better appreciation for how to formulate different types of research questions, a correlating research hypothesis, and learn how to choose the most appropriate type of statistical research to use in order to address the problem and answer the questions. The presentation will conclude with a review and references. The goal of journals in the social sciences domain is a straightforward communication of information. That is a line from Numbers to Words by Morgan, Reichert, and Harrison, and it is a good starting point for why research is organized the way that it is. The goal is not to entertain, but to communicate well with others who might benefit from your research. To that end, we will now look at the terms used in the statistical world in the generation of research problems and questions. Our primary terms for this task are research problems, research questions, research hypotheses, and knowing the right type of statistics to use according to your research. The research process begins with a problem. It could be an issue or a point of concern, a new technology or a problem on the horizon. But in statistical research, the problem is an opportunity to examine this phenomenon in depth, to try to determine if correlation, causation, or predictability can be proven. The research problem ought to be broad. Many are simply too complex. One example is here. This template can be used from the simple to the complex, and it is a sound basis for beginning the research process. It is a statement, ends with a period. Research questions are predictive questions about the relationship between variables. They are questions, got to end in a question mark. In qualitative research, we are cautioned against asking a yes-no question. However, in quantitative research, this is more acceptable. There are three main types of research questions: difference, associational, and descriptive. Difference: do persons who experienced an anger management intervention differ from those who did not with respect to their average regression score? Associational: will students' degree of anxiety be associated with their overall GPA? And descriptive: what percentage of students scored in the below average range on the third grade ACT Aspire test? The kind of question the researcher asked depends upon the purpose of the study. The research hypothesis is much like the research question, but it is a statement, ends with a period. It is a specific, clear, and testable predictive statement about the outcome of a scientific research study based on a particular property of a specific population. A good two-pronged check to determine a good research hypothesis is, can your hypothesis be tested, and does it have the independent and dependent variables represented? This is from the Morgan et al. Text, page 6, and it is a clear graphic organization of when to use difference, associational, and descriptive questions and hypotheses. We see here that descriptive hypotheses and questions are the simplest form. They describe data. The difference and associational are more complex because they seek to establish a difference between groups or to associate commonalities between variables. There often seems to be a myriad of types and kinds of statistical research. However, this mindful selection of the appropriate test to use depends on the type of research being conducted. Ultimately, there are three types: difference, associational, and descriptive. Some tests associated with difference research are t-test and ANOVA, for associational or correlation and regression, and for descriptive, the mean, percentage, and range. When conducting statistical research, the researcher must begin with a coherent and well thought out problem from which to generate research questions. While complex research questions are appropriate when using multiple variables or multivariate work, the research problem in question ought not be too complicated. The hypothesis must be able to be tested by the associated research, and it should include the independent and dependent variables in population, and if it is descriptive question, the variable being studied and the population. Ultimately, at the heart of all good research is a question that is of interest to you and that will interest and hopefully be of benefit to others. These two references are simple but practical resources, and the Appendix B of the IBM SPSS book is a wealth of sound information for writing research problems and questions in quantitative statistical analysis. Thank you for your time.